this dredging will increase the heaviness of the tankers. So heavier tankers that will carry heavier and more tar sands oil through the San Francisco Bay into the San Pablo area as well, in Carquinez Strait. And so at this meeting, a lot of us were very vocal about this particular dredging project, and the guy's name was Stu. He had just got brought on to, I think the senior management of this particular project, and he heard a mouthful of us and how angry we were because of a month or so prior to that, they had another meeting that was not successfully publicized. And because it was not successfully publicized, the community's voice was not heard. Mm-hmm. There was only a few organizations like Sierra Club and Center for Biological Diversity and Community for a Better Environment. Those were the only three organizations that had found out that this meeting was happening and that the public comment period was closing rapidly. So they had to get their research done and really be vocal for us. And I'm so thankful for them to do that, because if it wasn't for their voices, they would have just went on about their day and made this process go by quicker. And so what we had learned at this meeting is that they want this project to finish at least by summer 2020. And our job as community is to make sure that this project gets pushed back further than that. And we will do our hardest job. We will do our hardest job to make sure that that does not happen, because that will heavily impact the communities that are near the refineries. It'll impact the ecosystem. You know, like Melinda was saying, there's lots of toxins in the water. There's lots of mercury. There's lots of there's that Selby slag that is next to the Phillips 66 refinery that has lots more toxins in there. That even just by dredging it, the smell can really send people to the hospital, because it is just very, very toxic. And so there will be another public meeting. There was so much pressure on Stu that he had made a personal commitment to create another public meeting, primarily focused on the San Francisco to Stockton dredging project. And so that has not yet been publicized. That's still in the process. But if you'd like to attend that and like to stay informed with that, please follow Idle No More SFA, IDLE No More SFA.org, or on Facebook, and also just find time to look it up on the internet, San Francisco to Stockton dredging, because that is actually one other part of the project that Phillips 66 is really waiting on to expand their tar sands tankers expansion. And it's really alarming to find out how these projects are all connecting up north to the Trans Mountain Pipeline, and that's why I keep being vocal about how important it is for us to be in solidarity with our First Nations up north, because, like Hanus was saying, the impacts that they're feeling is the same impacts that we're feeling, and vice versa. That's how closely connected we are, and that's how vocal we need to be with our neighbors, with everyone in our surrounding spaces, to understand this connection and how we can best support and how we can best take action in that. I can go on with that.
Lucy brings up a big point that the more tankers that come in, the heavier they are. It's just, when is the spill going to happen? Not if, when. And that in and of itself, because it will bring in up to 88,000 barrels per day, that's what their limit they're looking for. Imagine that kind of spill occurring in Bay. As you remember the Exxon Valdez spill, and how long, and that still isn't cleared up. In Louisiana and various other areas where there's been spills, this is a massive potential destruction to our environment that's going to happen. So this is the time to really seize the opportunity to stop it at the beginning. Not wait till that spill happens, but stop it so they can't do the expansion to bring in those bigger, heavier ships. And the crude oils, too, are volatile, and especially those that come through on trains. Some have blown up and destroyed some towns in Canada. So we need to be aware of all of these, and I think our best place, yes, is I Don't Know More, because we put a lot of things on our Facebook page to keep you informed and check on the events and where things are going to happen, and tell people about it, and share our pages, share our events that occur, and then you never know how many people. How many did we want? 3.5 million people on September 10th around the world. That's a tipping point. For something to happen, to change in a major way, it's 3.5 million people out on the street on the same day around, is 3.7%? Thank you, percent, not 3.1, 3.5%. Thank you, that's from XR. Thank you, Heather. But that's what we need to do. And if Greta Thunberg, the 16-year-old, who decided that she was going to sit in every Friday at the Swedish Parliament for her climate strike, and she's been unwavering, and she is coming here. I don't know when. I want to capture this young girl's spirit and just, take some of that into us, because I'm so inspired every time. If you haven't heard her TED Talk, Google it and listen to her. And she talks to world leaders, and she does not give them any sort of room. It's like, you're not doing this. Why isn't the climate crisis on every single paper? Anytime there's been some mass shootings, some horrible mass shootings in our country, and we've been talking about it forever and ever, and that's important too. But her feeling is, why isn't there every single day climate crisis, climate emergency? No, not even climate crisis, climate emergency. Another question, comment? Yes.
I was just wondering, when you were talking about the man camps, I've heard of the man camps, and where are they getting most of these workers from?
Workers, you mean? Where are they getting the workers?
Yeah, the workers are coming from all over the place, and they're even coming from overseas. So it all depends on what contractors too that they get. So because really we're trying to figure out where do we put our efforts to affect their money into their pocketbook after Canada purchased it. I mean, they could print the money to build this pipeline if they wanted to. So it's like, but we're finding out they're from everywhere. They're from all across Canada. They're from the U.S. There's a lot of American workers, but also there's European workers. There's workers from Germany, from France. There's contractors from overseas that have contracts to build portions of this pipeline through the various mountains through BC. So it's all over the place. But very rarely are they local people.
And they're not vetted to find out if they're pedophiles or rapists from that area.
Right.
Good point.
Yeah.
Is there another comment or question that you have? No?
I just want to say thank you. Thank you for doing what you're doing. We promise to protect as much as well as we can.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. All right. Sure.
Photo op.
Photo op.
I guess I have one more question, and thank you again. I want to echo, this thanks for coming out here and speaking to us. In addition to donating to Tiny House Warriors, sharing the stuff on social media that we've been talking about, what are ways that we here can take away what you've told us, this information, and really embody that in our own local lives to bring more awareness to the fight that you're working on, and not only with the tiny homes, but everything.
Yeah, I think just Tiny House Warriors, like that, we worked on that image and brand and everything hard, so we could just say Tiny House Warriors and people will remember it, so they could go Google it and just stay involved. And there's times when we're going to be putting call out for volunteer builders when we have a building date set. So if there's any builders that want to come and help, we'll put calls out on our Facebook page, Tiny House Warriors. But we're also going to be doing more work here with our relatives here and connecting, the the north and the south, and we're going to shut down this Trans Mountain. So this is just the beginning. We're going to see each other a lot more often.
Yeah.
I'm happy to hear that, because this has been inspirational, hearing Kanas talk all about the things that they're doing. And one sometimes thinks, oh, it takes millions of people. Not really. There can be small numbers of people that affect huge changes. You know, we've seen the civil rights movement, the American Indian movement, various other movements that really counted on sometimes one or two people standing up and then other people joining and saying, that happened at Standing Rock. You know, with all the flags that were flying, there were over, I think, 300 flags of the nations. My nation issued a referendum in support of Standing Rock, because I was curious, what is my tribe doing? So there's all kinds of ways to support these things. Monetary, I wish I knew how to build. I can wield a hammer, but that's about as I can get. But I think in some cases, doing training. Sure.
We're going to be doing trainings, and actually one of the reasons why I'm here too is that I'm going to be meeting with some amazing women that do a lot of human rights, international human rights work, and we're building some curriculum and training because we want to be able to properly document human rights testimonials with our people, but actual international court admissible testimonies that can be used, and really the caliber that we want to have is to be internationally recognized as nations. So we're building this training so we can get our people trained up, but we're going to continue to have trainings, and I feel that that's the only way we're going to actually organize any type of gatherings in our territory are actually trainings, because we just need to continue to build our skills, and there's so much amazing people in our movement that want to volunteer to teach a lot of these amazing skills. So just reach out to us if you want to get involved in any of that.
Thank you. Anything else for final comments? Well, thank you all, and thank you, Isabella, for doing this. Thank you, Kanahas, for coming here. It was a delight to have all of you here. So remember, it's a web, so start spreading that little web out to your family and friends, and we'll build a lot more tiny houses. I think it'd be great. Like Marjorie said,